to the Personalities of the Tarot special presidential episode. This episode, like the book Personalities of the Tarot, is all about birthdays. By the way, the book isn't currently available, I'm sorry. However, I hope to have revisions and additions completed soon, so keep checking back here or my website, elizabethseer.com. So today is Monday, November 9th, 2020. 1 week since the U.S. presidential election. This past Saturday, November 7th, the media called the presumed winner of the U.S. presidential race, and that winner is Joe Biden with Kamala Harris as his VP. Congratulations to them both for pushing through as a calming influence in a storm-filled year. And personally, I have to say, yay, girl power! Black girl power and Indian girl power. I'm not black and I'm not Indian, but I can only imagine how it must feel to be finally represented in a position like that. Sometime within the past few months, I pondered the birth dates of the presidential candidates, and I decided to break them out into their corresponding court cards from the tarot, like Personalities of the Tarot, just like I do. When I would hear how Biden or the current president were acting, I would think, makes sense. He's the King of Wands, or he's the Queen of Cups, respectively. Sometimes I said these things out loud, and finally my producer/daughter, Aspen Brienne, said I should just share the information in a podcast. First, I want to begin with the reminder that we are in the time of the Death card, which covers the entire sign of Scorpio, from October 23rd to November 22nd. Death in the tarot is all about transition, change, moving through the unavoidable, and walking a path of grief, going through the unknown to come out the other side, both figuratively, literally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. In more modern tarot decks, death is depicted with a butterfly. Think about it. It takes a great deal of energy for a caterpillar to create its own cocoon and then go into a period of incredible growth, eventually outgrowing that cocoon. To live, it must push through. It's used up so much energy in fully transforming the body into something it was not first manifest in this world, and now it must allow itself to spread its wings. Change, the type needed to forge a new and hopefully better path, full of freedoms and options, is often painful and full of growing pains. We are in that time right now. But like all cycles, there's always an upside or an upswing too. So hold on to that idea as we push through this time of death in Scorpio and come out the other side, changed, refreshed, and looking at a whole new world. So let's get into it. The King of Wands imbues his characteristics to those born November 12th to December 11th. It's basically the last 10 days of Scorpio into the first 20 days of Sagittarius. Joe Biden's birthday is November 20th, 1942. So Biden will embody the characteristics, for good or ill, of the King of Wands. That King of Wands is enlightened authority. He's generous and charismatic. He could make bold moves and tends to always be moving. He loves his family and his circle of friends. He can be very charismatic. Although maybe not the standout in the room, he can certainly draw people to him. Here's what I've written about this king in my recent book, Ex Libris Tarot version 2.0. This king is usually secure in business or profession and has strength, inner and outer, to accomplish his goals. He's strong and generous, but maybe a bit impulsive. He's usually committed in a relationship with a family or has that goal in mind. His temperament can be hasty, so he may have to revisit issues that he's acted on without much thought, like charging into battle without his armor. Though he can give creative advice because he's a visionary and a leader. He can be a good man to have on your side and a fierce enemy if he thinks you've wronged him, or more especially, someone he loves. Now, every single one of us has our shadow side. Every one of us has a shadow side, the devil on the shoulder, just waiting to come out. If the King of Wands, and remember that's those born November 12th to the 11th, if this king acts negatively or shows us his shadow side, he can be cruel, brutal, hasty, fierce, and downright evil. He's someone you want by your side as you go into battle, but he is a formidable adversary because he has vision where others don't. For more perspective, all of the U.S. presidents who were born with the King of Wands energy include James Garfield, Franklin Pierce, Zachary Taylor, and Martin Van Buren. Now let's go a little deeper down the rabbit hole. Hillary Clinton's birthday is October 26, 1946. So, like Joe, she's also a Scorpio, known and loved in Democratic circles. With Joe Biden included, the sign of Scorpio rules the presidency. Before Biden, 5 other Scorpios, and all men, have been president of these United States of America. But while Joe Biden is the King of Wands in Scorpio, Hillary Clinton is a Knight of Cups in Scorpio on the other end of the sign. The Knight of Cups reigns in the last 10 days of Libra through the first 2/3 of Scorpio, so we're looking at roughly October 12th to November 11th. Knights are harbingers of change. The suit of cups represents love, relationships, inspiration, and emotions. The more personable characteristics of the Knight of Cups includes being romantic, imaginative, sensitive, introspective, intelligent, artistic, interesting, and inspired. And on the flip side, inspiring. Much like her Queen of Cups counterpart, and we're going to get to the Queen of Cups here in a moment, the Knight of Cups can be a drama queen, temperamental, introverted, insensitive to the feelings of others, emotionally merciless, and prone to flights of fancy. The Knight of Cups has goals geared toward that which makes them emote, and they feed on creative inspiration. They may need reminders to come back down to earth, as the Knight is prone to flights of fancy, as I mentioned. They can offer interesting or imaginative invitations and new ideas. The Knight of Cups can be emotionally unstable, moving from happiness to sadness very quickly, and when upset, he could say and do things later that they regret. So this Knight is also a dreamer. And by that same notion, they may need to be tethered to reality. But their imagination and love of love can also take them to inspired heights. As a call to action, this Knight brings change revolving around love, emotions, close relationships, and the spiritual self. It's a time where you're learning and being tested to keep emotional and spiritual balance with new relationships and opportunities. It could be a time to embark on a journey where we open our heart and get in touch with intuition and instincts and spirit. We should, during the time of the Knight of Cups, take the time to tune into our emotions and intuition, improving the energetic flow of those things. Caring for the health and well-being of the heart and soul is imperative. So, 2 Scorpios have battled the 45th president in the past 4 years, but where the first one, Knight of Cups Hillary, lost, the King of Wands Joe Biden has been victorious. So we already know in 2016, the current president beat Hillary Clinton. His birthday is June 14th, 1944. He is a Gemini, but since he's later in Gemini, he's actually the Queen of Cups in the tarot, as opposed to the first 2/3 of Gemini, which would fall under the King of Swords. The Queen of Cups reigns from June 12th to July 11th. If she embodies the positive aspects of her energy, she's good-natured, intuitive, psychic, spiritual, imaginative, empathetic, creative, and inspiring. If she manifests the more shadow side of her personality, she's temperamental, not in tune with her gut, has her head in the clouds, drowns in her own emotional swamp, If the energy of this queen is somehow twisted, she can be ill-dignified, void of empathy, unimaginative, and uninspiring. This queen, the Queen of Cups, has an instinctual understanding of the maternal unless she is possessed by the shadow side of the energy, which is having a quote-unquote mommy problem or other issues with women and the divine feminine. The Queen of Cups is emotionally sensitive, relying more on feelings rather than common sense. She may be difficult to approach at first, not seeming open to strangers. However, she can be quite helpful to those that she trusts. If she is emotionally disciplined, she can be attuned to the deeper movements of inspiration and emotion. At the same time, she could be overly flirtatious or emotionally conniving to get what she wants. If she's connected and balanced, her perception can help her see what's ahead, and she can share this perspective with others. The people have apparently decided they would like sensible structure and authority instead of unadulterated, unfiltered emotional hailstorms. A self-controlled Queen of Cups is something to behold. However, as witness to the last 4 years, I can objectively and empirically conclude 45 really appears to embody, at least publicly, the shadow side of his astrological aspects. The measured and disciplined energy of Joe Biden's King of Wands trumped the president's murky Queen of Cups, where the Queen trumped the Knight of Cups only 4 years ago. Both times, the battle was arduous and drawn out. The past 4 years have been a spectacle to behold, that's for sure. Now, besides our current president, the other Queen of Cups energy presidents, those with birthdays from June 12th to the 11th, include George H.W. Bush and his son, George W. Bush, Calvin Coolidge, and John Quincy Adams. Because I'm psychic, I kept getting asked if I knew who would win this election. All year long, I was getting asked by people of all walks of life. When I first checked that pulse back in the summer of this year, I kept seeing Donald Trump with a few cards good and bad around him, and the death card. I was wondering if maybe he would get sick and that could go south if left unattended. But I also kept feeling like he would be physically fine. Turns out he did get sick, and he attended to it right away, and he was fine. But the death card it's Joe Biden's card, as I've already explained. The death card covers the entire sign of Scorpio, which Joe Biden is. Now, I do an annual reading for myself, and I kept seeing the death card in my reading and many other readings that I did for the month of November. I was actually kind of worried because I kept seeing the death card when I first did these readings last year. Turns out I really didn't have much to worry about. It was just an indication of that Scorpio energy coming to fore. On Election Day, I posted my weekly reading for that day. Every Sunday, I pull 4 cards for each day of the next week. I like to get an idea of what I'm going to be working with from week to week. So for Tuesday, November 3rd, I pulled the Knight of Swords, Justice, and the Queen of Swords, with the Ace of Cups at the bottom at the foundation. Both swords cards surrounding that Justice card told me karmic balance was coming as we cut around and cut away those things which no longer serve the highest good of everyone concerned. Life would be balanced in the end. The foundation was the Ace of Cups, which is most simply planting the seed of love. It's the Ace of Cups, really, for me, it's planting the seed and creating a foundation of emotion and empathy, joy, bliss, connection, intuition, inspiration, all of those things that move us emotionally and spiritually. You plant that seed and you feed it, and with proper care, it can blossom into something amazing. But of course, it does require effort. It does require taking care. The Ace of Cups lays the foundation for love and relationships and new spiritual insight. It's a new connection forming, possibly connecting in love. It's tuning into the spiritual self and that inner voice. It's getting rid of negativity and being open to those around you. The Ace of Cups sees the beginning of changes in the spirit in the home, bringing happiness all around. The energy from this card brings an opportunity for creative expression through emotional and spiritual inspiration. Every time I pull this card, I'm also reminded of the curative power of water. Drinking enough, bathing, swimming, visiting oceans, lakes, waterfalls, etc., all of that stuff. Scorpio, Joe Biden's sign, is a water sign. In wrap-up of this special episode, I thought I'd give you some cool personalities of the tarot presidential facts. Of the 12 signs of the zodiac, Scorpio, if we include Joe Biden, president-elect, leads with 6 U.S. presidents. Aquarius is right behind with 5 presidents. Taurus, Cancer, Leo, Libra, and Capricorn all have 4 presidents. Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces have seen 3 presidents each. And the astrological signs that have seen less time in the Oval Office are Aries and Virgo, each with 2 presidents. Also, including Joe Biden, of the 4 elements, fire, earth, air, and water, a whopping 13 presidents, 13 of 46, have embodied the element of water based on their sign. 12 air, 10 earth, and 9 fire signs have been president. Now, I'll be back in just a few days with my regular Decon-based episode of Personalities of the Tarot, discussing the energy at the end of Scorpio, which is also specifically Joe Biden time, for November 12th through the 22nd. Also, I think I'm going to be posting my presidential astrology findings on my website for anyone interested. I'll give an update for that on the next episode as well. We're coming into the time of year when people want new and interesting gifts to offer their loved ones or themselves. Think about giving a personalized tarot reading for 2021. Prices start at only $25 all the way up to $75 for a personalized reading. You can find them in my shop at elizabethseer.com. That's Seer, S-E-E-R. You've been listening to Personalities of the Tarot with Elizabeth Seer, the special presidential episode for 2020. Thank you, and know I'm always grateful for this time with you.